This is the real footage from 1991, showing the execution of the Dongbei gang, the KIA group, being carried out on site before facing death. The 14 leaders of the group showed no fear whatsoever, smiling as they walked to the execution ground. KIA's real name was Song Yongji, and he was a dominant figure in the northeastern Chinese underworld. In the late 1990s, his gang ruled the region, and almost everyone knew who he was. It was precisely because of the gang's violent actions that KIA's group was ultimately convicted of operating a criminal organization, murder, and other serious crimes. He was sentenced to death, and the sentence was immediately carried out. At the trial, KIA had his hands bound behind his back, leaning casually against the chair in the courtroom, unruffled, showing no fear of the impending death. Before the execution, KIA was taken to the execution site. The police were stationed in layers, but no one dared to use force on him. Standing beside KIA was another top leader of the group, Wang Weifan, also known as Shao Kai. Although he wasn't tall and didn't appear physically imposing, he was ruthless, cunning, and had a reputation within the group second only to Kiao Si. Shao Ki appeared even more arrogant than Kiao Si, smoking a cigarette and laughing as he spoke to Kiao Si. Next was Yu Qinghai, also known as Da Hai, Kiao Si's good brother. When he was caught, he remained indifferent, even chewing gum without a care. The contempt in his eyes made the atmosphere even more eerie. Following him was Ma Long, the group's top enforcer. As one of Kiao Si's 4 main bodyguards, Ma Long's brutal reputation terrified everyone facing the camera, his gaze both disdainful and menacing. Then there was Hao Weitao, who was helped along, limping, to the unaware. It might seem as though he was frightened into weakness. Hao Weitao had polio since childhood. However, this never stopped him from becoming a notorious figure in the northeastern Chinese underworld. Other names on the list of those to be executed included Xiao, Fai, Chen, Dianbin, Ma Dianlong, Wang Xishui, Kui Kenrong, and others. 14 people were facing execution. Before the execution, Shao Ki stood in front, smiling and nodding at each of his brothers, gesturing for a final goodbye. At the moment of facing death, no one shrank back. KIA was forced to kneel at the execution site. A police officer raised his hand to push aside a lock of hair from KIA's forehead. Then, all 14 men knelt together at the execution site. With several gunshots, a gangster legend came to an end. Although KIA and his group were loyal to each other, they had committed horrendous crimes, and they ultimately had to pay the price with their lives.